quick video on gearing up healers. Specifically, right on this one I'll do my operative healer. I'll come back and look at my Merc and my Sorc healer later, but the principles and premises are basically the same for all the healers. It's relatively easy to itemize for healers, so you don't got to worry about accuracy like you do with DPS, and tank stuff is just insane. But there's still some confusion sometimes with healers when you're going from tier to tier, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Again, I am on my operative, who is my most geared toon, not just of all the healers, just of all the toons I have. And really quickly we'll establish the gear that I have on him right now. Let me make sure my buffs are on and all that jazz. Okay, got my buff and got my stem. So here you can see my main stat right now is a 3541. That's my cunning, which is not bad. It's pretty good. You get down to my tech tree. My crit is at 24%, almost 25%. I only have 84 points in crit, and my surge is 73%, almost 74%. I need a little more surge, to be honest. And you see my bonus healing is 1164 right now, which is pretty good. The tier gear I have varies. I have my 78, my Dread forged earpiece. I have a Dread forged main hand. I have 78 rated boots that I bought off the vendor, the Orbronian vendor or whatever it is. I have my 78 offhand, which is Arconian vendor. So I bought those two off the vendor. I have my 78 belt and my 78 bracers that for healers are pretty good. You can buy those off the same vendor, that new 78 rated vendor without the set pieces. They're pretty good there. That's not true of DPS all the time. It's not true of tanks, but those are pretty good. You can buy them and pretty much equals the drops that you get in the raids. So I have right now, when I'm making this video, 6 rated 78 pieces. The rest of it is Underworld 72 stuff, and aside from one relic that I'm just kind of clinging to, but the rest of the stuff is Underworld. I also have a PvP relic that I can talk later about. PvP relics are good. Don't go look at those. Those are good. The challenge though becomes if you're raiding a lot, and if you're in the hard mode raids, the new ones, the Dread Fortress and the Dead Palace, the challenge becomes gear drops. And how do you gear up your toon, and how do you itemize your toon? Me, with my operative healer, going into those raids, I had my 2-piece set bonus, which is really good for an operative healer. It's a 15% boost to my nanotech, which is my AoE heal. I just popped on myself here. It's a boost to this heal. It's a very significant boost, so I had that set piece coming in. I gave it up when I got the headpiece, and I'll show you why here, and it'll illustrate, I think, the only challenge of gearing up healers. Bioware has no idea what the hell they're doing when it comes to itemizing the gear. They do it this way probably to make us raid more and to make us grind more, to make us so we don't easily get the best stuff. But it's still insane how they do it, and I'll give you an example. So here is the new vendor for the Dread Force piece. He also has Arcanian and I believe Underworld here. So this one has all the tokens, the set piece tokens, which is kind of cool. So when I got the headpiece, I came and looked at, I initially had all 72s of power and I believe surge stuff. So I was all excited because I wanted to roll. So it was going to be my first kind of big piece. And I went into the field medic, which is what I am here. And you see the headgear gives me 130 crit and takes away 131 power. If you look at the red down there at the bottom, it shows you the difference. That's kind of insane. That's just insane to get that much crit and to lose that much power. The reason is power is essentially useless in the game. Bioware made crit, I'm sorry, crit. Crit is useless in the game. Bioware nerfed crit so bad that you basically don't want it. There are very few classes, or very few actually builds, that need crit in any significant way. Healers are not one of those. You can make the case that Merc healers kind of need some crit, but it's not, it's not a universal thing. Operative healers certainly don't need a lot of crit. Any, really. So throw 131 into the healer headpiece is kind of messed up, because I had to decide, do I keep my set bonus by just basically ripping out the armoring and putting it in my 72 rated headpiece? So I would have had a 78 armoring and 72s along the way, and keep my set bonus, or do I scroll down and look at the field tech one, that has straight upgrades across the board? So that one gave me more cunning, more power, and it helped me out with alacrity, which I don't need alacrity, but if you're going to take a secondary thing, alacrity's fine. Alacrity or surge over alacrity, but alacrity doesn't hurt, I guess. So what I did was I took the field tech headpiece, and then ended up with the DPS, or one of the DPS set bonuses, because I already had a field tech piece somewhere else for my 72s. So the way Bioware rated these things and itemized these things was that you can't always get, unless you really, really want your set bonuses. There's some classes like the Merc Healer that really does need that set bonus. It's also useful for Sorks, and it is useful for my class, but I decided just to go with the straight numbers upgrade and worry later about this set bonus, because my group is still gearing up. At some point, we'll all have our headpiece. I'll go back in and take it, and then come back and get the healer one, and then give me the bonus. So that was my first dilemma when I started gearing. What the hell do I take for my main headpiece? And you started to notice that not all of these Dreadfort pieces are geared or itemized the way they should be, and itemized the way that makes sense for your class. So you're going to have to really pay attention. My advice has always been to go and look at the new tier you're going after. Mark down, write down, or at least remember which pieces are good upgrades and which pieces aren't, so that you can prioritize what you're getting first while the group is gearing up. The next thing to show you is something that I think most of us know to do now, is how you can combine tier of gear, or different types of gear of the same tier, I mean, and get what you need. So my gloves is the next piece that I might win in the group, because right now it's a free roll. Everybody can roll on it. So the gloves are going to be, I believe, the piece I win next, the body piece I win next. If you come and look at the Dreadforge piece, you'll see the healer gloves. Get there first. They're kind of insane. The healer gloves. The field medic gloves. It's the same idea. 131 crit. So if you just go by what Bioware does, if you get the medic headpiece and the medic gloves, you're looking at 260 some points of crit, which is just, I mean, it's just stupid. It's the stupidest thing in the world, and for Bioware to even do that is kind of a slap in the face. So you have to be smart about how you gear your healers. You don't need that much crit. You don't need one of those pieces of crit. You certainly don't need both. And if you look at here, if I had won the gloves today when we beat the boss, and if I'd have just taken this, I'd have lost 100 power and gained 131 crit. That's just stupid. So what I'm going to do, and something I suggest you guys do when you look at your gear, is if I win the gloves, I will come and get this piece, but I'm going to take the armoring only for the set bonus, because I need the set bonus. Then I'm going to come over here to the vendor, the Arconian vendor, and look at the targeter gloves. The targeter gloves, which is not mine, it's a DPS glove, but it doesn't have a set bonus, so you get more leeway. And you see here that it's all power. It's all power and surge, which is genius. So I'll take the armoring off the Dreadforge piece, put it in, I'll probably go get an orange set of gloves, put it in there, rip the mods and enhancements out of this one, and put it in there. That gives me my set bonus and an all power surge the rest of the way, and more cunning probably, because the stats don't take into account the augment I have. So it'll be just straight upgrades across the board, which is awesome. But you have to be smart, and it's not a perfect upgrade. I'm sure that I need better power and better augment ones, or better power augments and better power mods and enhancements, I mean. But combined with my set bonus and combined with the armoring from the Dreadforge, it's a pretty significant upgrade overall to all of the heals I'm outputting. So I'm going to have to combine pieces. I'm going to have to combine Arconian with the Dreadforge stuff to make that glove worth it, and to make the drop worth it, and to make my overall heal output be significantly more. So those are just some things to think about. Some other quick tips I can give you is that when you're looking at the rated 78s, or even the 72s if you're still getting Verpine, between Verpine and Arconian, for healers at least, it's been that the offhand is always a pretty strong offhand. It's always pretty strong for our classes. It's true of the Merc Healer, it's true of the Sork Healer, and it's true of the Operative Healer, and I'm conversely believing it's true of the Sage, Scoundrel, and Commando. I bought and spammed raids to get my Arconian offhand that's straight from the vendor, and it gave me all power, a lot of tech power, a lot of power, a lot of cunning, and then some alacrity that's useful here and there. It's a massive upgrade to the Underworld when I had, or at least good enough. It's good enough that I can wait on the offhand that's coming from Dreadforge, because right now we're giving that all the DPS. So if you go and look at the Dreadforge one, that gives me 23 power and 94 surge. That's still a pretty good upgrade. So even from the Oriconian to Dreadforge, the upgrade is significant. The cunning is the same because it is the difference there is just the augment, and then plus power and plus surge. But it's enough of an upgrade to go from Underworld to Oriconian that I don't have to worry about that piece for a little bit while the DPS and tanks and whatever else get their offhand. So, a couple of tips there. Look at the Dreadforge gear ahead of time if you're working at that tier. That's true also of Underworld. If you're Arcanian going to Underworld, if you're Underworld going to Dreadforge, go and spend some time at the gear vendors and look around and see what they have. What pieces can you get right now that are upgrades while your team is still, or your group is still farming stuff, so you're not guaranteed to have time to get multiple of the same piece to rip stuff out. Look and see which are immediate upgrades. Get those first, and then look and see where you might be able to combine. So Underworld and Verpine sometimes can combine to give you your set bonuses and still what you need for augments, for modifications and enhancements. Dreadforge and Oriconian can certainly combine to give you pretty strong pieces, still get your set bonus, and skip and avoid Bioware's kind of insane obsession with crit, while they also nerfed it. So those are some things to keep in mind, regardless of your healers. All healers seems to be the stuff works the same way. There's a couple pieces that are straight upgrades, like the weapons seem to be upgrades. Dreadforge, Underworld, weapons seem to be upgrades. Bracers and belts, a lot of good bracers and belts. Implants and earpieces from the actual Underworld and Dreadforge guys tend to be pretty good upgrades, and it doesn't matter what you get because there's no set bonus there. So those are going to be upgrades straight away. The other stuff, the other pieces you might have to get tricky. So just keep an eye on that, and you'll see your numbers get massive, and you'll see your heals get bigger because you're hopefully itemizing the same way. If you have any questions specific to a healer or class of healer, let me know. I have a Merc healer, I run a Sorc healer, and I run an Op healer. I run them all through raids, PvP, all that stuff. So let me know if you have any questions on gear specifically. But be smart about how you gear up your tunes. It's very important that you avoid a certain things like a lot of crit and a lot of alacrity. You just need enough to get the job done. Hope this helps. Thank you for looking at the video. I hope you can visit the website healingswtoR.com, healingswtoR.com. You guys take care, and I'll see you later.